Hurricane Irene is posing the largest threat to the U.S. Northeast since Hurricane Gloria in 1985. Today, President Barack Obama spoke earlier saying residents should be prepared for the worst.
I cannot stress this highly enough. If you are in the projected path of this hurricane, you have to take precautions now. Don't wait. Don't delay. We all hope for the best, but we have to be prepared for the worst.
Irene was downgraded to a Category 2 as it moves toward the coast of North Carolina, but it's still packing winds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Bill Reed is the director of the National Hurricane Center, and he joins us now from Miami. Mr. Reed, welcome to Bottom Line. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Your predecessor, Max Mayfield at the National Hurricane Center, he told the Associated Press yesterday, quote, "One of my greatest nightmares was having a major hurricane go up the whole northeast coast." Is that still Irene's projected path?
The path of Irene, the forecast track of Irene has not changed material since yesterday. We're expecting a landfall tomorrow in eastern North Carolina and then hug the coastline on the mid-Atlantic states, and then it gets a little more uncertain because just we're farther out in time, but the general idea is it'll be crossing the main part of New England during the day on Sunday. The bigger challenge is how strong is it going to be at that point? By virtue of it not intensifying to the north of the Bahamas and coming down in intensity even a little bit more today, is the possibility is that it might not be quite as strong as some of the historical storms that we've been referring to as it gets up into your neck of the woods.
Well, how much rain is expected, and how bad will the storm surges be, particularly in this area?
Yes, the storm surges are very dependent on how strong and how large the area of high winds are on that. On the current projections, maximum amounts of some 5 to 7 feet are what we were looking at. The details on that, though, become more clear within about 24 hours when we can narrow down the wind field and the track on that. The rainfall is another matter, though. We think along that corridor of the path where the storm goes, you can look at the large area of rain independent of the wind speed of it. We're going to get a swath of very heavy rain across saturated ground. So you're looking at 5 to an excess of 10 inches of rain in some spots, which will lead to flash flooding, and that with the combination of the wind will bring trees down and cause power loss.
Mr. Reed, you were in the Navy and you were an onboard meteorologist with the hurricane hunters. You know how ferocious these storms can be. What do you have to say to people who are in the path of Hurricane Irene and insist on staying put?
If you're in an evacuation zone and your local officials tell you you need to evacuate, you need to heed that. Think of a simple little example as this. You're in an evacuation zone, you stay, and you suddenly have an appendix attack. You think anyone can come and get you out? They can't. It'd be very simple in a fair weather day these days to go to an emergency room and get treatment for that now. But if you're trapped out there, there's nothing they can do for you.
Bill Reed, he's the director of the National Hurricane Center with some very sage advice, joining us from Miami. Mr. Reed, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.